you got glitchy.
All right, we are live. Am I still glitchy?
No, that's better.
All righty, we are live.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Let's Talk, presented by Let's Debate. And today is our first open topic chat. So we will be having people who want to join in with us. We'll give you the link in the chat. And I'm sorry, introductions. I'm Sparrow, and I am here with my co hosts, Let's Farm and
Hey,
Sweet
everybody.
Pea.
Hey everyone.
So we are excited to have anybody join us if there's something you'd like to discuss. We have some ideas on things we can talk about, um, but we'd like to hear from you.
The link is in the live chat now, and if somebody would like to pin it, we will have it pinned right to the top.
Let me see if I can do that real quick. Where
Also,
is the link? I'm looking for it.
P. Barnes has joined us.
I don't see the link
Yay.
in the live chat. Did
Morning,
somebody
everybody,
post?
Hi.
Hello.
or
How are
good
you?
evening, or good afternoon, or whatever time zone you find yourselves in.
Hello.
If you can't tell by my backlighting here, I am. It's evening here, and the sun is starting to go down right behind me. So I'm backlit for the evening.
So
So
how have
how's
you been
everyone?
doing, P Barnes?
Yeah, been pretty good. Just let me turn off the stream in the background so I don't get an echo. Yeah, I've been well. It's the Easter long weekend here, so 4 days off work, which is always nice.
Very nice.
How about yourselves?
Well, luckily my
Assuming
wife
it's
got.
I'm assuming it's Friday evening there, right?
Yes, it
Yes.
is. Yes, it is. And luckily my wife got 4 days off work this weekend too.
Amazing.
And her birthday falls on Monday, so
Oh,
we're
nice.
doing stuff.
So so I'm not able to pin it because it's not showing up that link. So I don't know
I'm only signing
what's
as
going on
myself,
here.
so I can't pin it either.
Hey Baron. I'm
Anyway,
doing good, thanks. How are you?
Hello, Baron.
hello, Michael Kelly.
I
If
didn't
we can
even
get the
see him
link,
come in. I think mine's delayed or somebody's not showing up.
mine's delayed too. I'm not able to, yeah, like the link that was posted, I don't see it. Anyway, um, Sweet Pea, were you the one who posted it?
No, well, we both
I did.
did.
Yeah, we both did.
Okay, I don't see it at all. Um,
Glad you're good, Baron.
wait, let
How
me
are you,
see.
Gabby?
Did you say Michael Kelly was in the stream? Chat, Sky chat.
Yeah, somebody, yeah, Michael Kelly.
Because mine is falling behind. Hello, Michael. Welcome to the chat. Welcome to Let's Talk.
Yeah, I'm not finding it in any of the. Okay. Anyway, we can deal with that. If one of you wants to try to repost the link, that would be cool.
I can try again right
Dum
now.
dum dum. You are.
and then we can get it started.
Did it show up that time?
I'm glad you're good, Gabby. Oh, nice.
So you guys are heading into winter, aren't you, P Barnes?
We are, yes, but look, on the east coast of Australia, I mean, we probably experience winter far differently than you do over there, depending on where you are. I mean, it doesn't snow here. It'll get into the single digits on a really cold night, but yeah, it's summer here that's horrible. So I'm glad to be moving out of it.
You're moving, huh?
Oh, as in, I'm glad that it's moving out of summer.
Oh, it's moving out. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
well,
yeah.
yeah, well, we have really, I know in the United States we have some really ridiculously hot places, and I just choose not to live
Yeah.
in them.
Okay, that link should be pinned now.
Yes, it
So
is.
Yeah.
if anybody else wants to join, you are more than welcome to. So one topic we were discussing earlier, and it's a little bit contentious, is this Kansas GOP bill. Um, I don't know if you know what I'm. Did you hear about that, P. Barnes?
There are so many contentious GOP bills that are currently on the books at the moment that, if I'm
That's
honest,
true.
it's actually hard to keep up. Um, so
So this one,
what are they banning this time?
okay, so this one authorizes exams of grade school children's genitals for sports. Uh,
Right. So, be going back to, I believe that that's what happened in the 60s and 70s in the Olympics, if I'm not mistaken. And until the Olympics sort of took a more science based approach to how they keep sport inclusive. So basically, the bill is to stop secret trans people from participating in sports. Is that the aim?
Well, they want them to participate in sports with the genitals they were born with, apparently.
Yeah.
In
Which
those
I mean,
particular.
sorry, go on.
No, I was just saying in those particular, male or female teams.
Yeah, and look, I, I get the contention, and I get this is, and look, for my mind, this is probably one of the last legitimate actual discussion points when it comes to trans inclusiveness in society. I think that in certain sporting areas, then yeah, but for me, it shouldn't be up to government. It shouldn't be up to schools. It should be up to sporting bodies. I mean, trans people have existed now for how long? How long has this been something that's existed within society? All of the development and all of the money that sport puts into advertising, into other means, into other areas of development to keep their sports marketable. I think this is on sport, and um, I think that the onus needs to be on sporting bodies to ensure that they still run an inclusive competition, and that would mean having trans people. Because let's face it, we've never segregated sport based on sex. Sport has always been split down gender lines, right? If the
Right.
I'm sure this would be the first jurisdiction in the world that actually does. And I mean, genital testing of kids. This is surely
yeah,
this
I
is.
As
guess.
I said,
Oh, go ahead, Sweet Pea.
as I was going to say, as I said earlier, I don't think they should be doing genital tests on children. It's absolutely disgusting. Let kids be kids.
Mhm.
So it's like they want. I don't know if it's for all kids or just children who uh, are believed to be trans, or I'm not sure.
I have not read the bill yet, but I hope they aren't like, checking their genitals at the bathroom door. Make sure
Yeah.
making sure they're using the right restroom or something, because that'd be ridiculous.
Absolutely. And what I
But
find funny is the different ways that Republican parties in different jurisdictions are using to marginalize trans communities. Like, so what we have now is we have in Florida where you're not actually allowed to talk about like any mention or any sort of any education about trans people in the classroom is, from my understanding, is a felony. So what they do, and now in Kansas, they want to actually point out and really make a big deal of trans individuals. I mean, are the GOP able to actually come to a single point of marginalisation across America that they want to use, or are they all going to keep on doing different contradictory things?
no idea. Hey, I figured I solved the whole bathroom situation. 100. It's already been solved. Why haven't we looked into like where it's already been solved? Look at an airplane, right? An airplane has gender neutral bathrooms with a door that locks that says occupied. It has a hand washing station in there, plain and simple.
Yeah,
And I
and I
mean, and
think
this is coming from a guy who has done some long distance driving and had to stand in a gas station while some truckers in the men's room. Well, there's a perfectly open ladies' room right next door that I can't use.
When it comes to bathrooms, if one restroom's full and occupied, I just use the other one. I don't care if what it has on the front door. If it says men or women's, it's like I don't know.
it's a utility, right? And
Yeah.
Yep.
I was actually looking
Yeah.
into some research behind it a while ago for one of the many wonderful discussions that go on the Discord about this topic. Um, and the largest study that I found, it tracked these sort of like bathroom safety, if you want to call it that, over many decades. And what it found is, on average, across the entire US, with all the public bathroom spaces, there is on average there's one cis male that dresses up as a female and goes into female bathrooms, it goes into female bathrooms with some sort of nefarious intent, right? This study, which was a meta study of a lot of other sort of looking at other criminal statistics, they, they could not find a single case of a trans man or woman transitioning purely to go into a bar. They just want to pay. That's what I don't understand about this.
Yeah.
That's what I don't understand about this
Exactly.
argument. They just want to go to
well,
the
Thank
bathroom.
you.
well, wait, right.
Exactly.
People just
Exactly.
people
Exactly.
just want to use the restroom, damn it. And if you want to really settle the whole thing,
Exactly.
the only place you really have to look at another person in a public restroom is when you're washing your hands at the sink, right? So
Absolutely.
Hmm.
if you put the
Yeah.
little sink in where the toilet is, so that you can do your business, wash your hands right there. You never have to look at another person the whole time.
Yeah.
just mind just mind your own business. It's super
It, you,
simple.
you just go do your business, wash your hands, go on about your
Exactly.
business.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
so
My
simple.
The people
And
who are
air,
the predators, they're not concerned about that. They're just gonna if they're gonna try to kidnap or assault somebody, it's not a it's they don't I don't think they try to change their clothes to disguise themselves. It's
absolutely. And the flip side of that, and the flip side of that same study is that it found that if you force people into the wrong bathroom, especially if you force trans women into the wrong bathroom, um, 1 in 4 trans women who are forced into the wrong bathroom face some sort of assault through their life, right? So
right.
you're knowingly and deliberately increasing an already marginalized community's potential to be harmed. And I think and what gets me, and there's a line that you can draw through the sporting debate and the bathroom debate here, is that people still think that someone would put themselves through what in countries that still allow this type of therapy, there's the consideration that people would actually put themselves through all of that. Like, we're not talking about snapping your fingers and overnight transitioning, right? Even
Right.
social transition, you don't do, even social transition, from my understanding, you don't do that overnight, right? So thinking that someone would do this just to go into the wrong bathroom or just to win at sports just shows a fundamental misunderstanding of the entire theory behind this. And which is why these debates frustrate me so much these days. It's like, you haven't even done the basic research on the topic, and you want to bring up sport or you want to bring up bathrooms. It's ridiculous. And in Melbourne a couple of weeks ago, I don't know if you saw it, Posey Parker, um, the UK, she's an anti-trans campaigner, and she's one of the ones that tries to pretend that this is about women's rights when when all she wants to do is remove rights from trans people. She held a couple of rallies in Australia and New Zealand. Um, the one in Melbourne, 10% of her supporter base were self-described neo-Nazi groups, right? And this isn't something that normally comes out of the woodwork very often in Australia. It's They tend to keep quiet to themselves. But yeah, 10% of her supporters there. And she got run out of New Zealand because New Zealand are considerably more based than we are here. But yeah, every rally that she was trying to import that sort of stuff into Australia, and luckily, um, people spoke out against it. So, so
Well,
yeah,
Good.
it's a
weird,
frustrating topic. Sorry,
weird segue, and I don't want to derail the topic. I just got an interesting little side note here. Speaking of Nazis, our local Nazi is running for sheriff.
Really?
Yes, he is. He's running for sheriff. Can't wait to see how that turns out for him.
Is it likely that he'll have any popular support in the area? That's, I guess, the bigger question.
Well, I'm
Well,
pretty sure that all of his little club will vote for him.
isn't he the leader of
He's
one of
the
the National
he's
Socialist?
yeah, he's a regional director of National Socialist Movement.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's got followers here. So I can't wait to see how
Mm.
this turns out. It'd be shocking if he won. Shocking.
We
We'd
re-
be the first place in Pennsylvania to have a Nazi sheriff. That'd be just so much fun.
I think it's time for you to move.
I bet we'd make the news.
Absolutely. I still find it fascinating, and I was having a discussion with a couple of my friends on Thursday night about this. The number of your local, I don't know whether it was true, but one of my friends was saying, like, even the dog catcher in a lot of areas is an elected position.
Yes.
And this came up around the Wisconsin Supreme Court election. Um, the fact that like there's an election campaign that's run down partisan lines for something like a Supreme Court judge, just for me, it's perplexing. Like, in Australia, we have panels of experts that place high court judges, and we have quite strict rules on how long they can serve for, what sort of scrutiny they're under. They do have a level of, there's sort of, like, put it this way, one of our high court judges couldn't accept millions and millions and millions of dollars in free flights and luxury yachts like Clarence Thomas has been accused of. Like, that's just something that can't happen here. And the debate on who gets into these positions is more based on how they interpret the law rather than what partisan lines they're going to draw. And yeah, it still perplexes me that things like sheriffs and local judges are elected positions. It's, yeah,
Even our auditors are elected positions. The people who just
wow.
check the books
Mm,
got to be elected.
yeah,
It's so
yeah. I
sad
find
at the state and local level anyway in American elections that I'll tell you what, I got accidentally elected to four things on one vote.
you got accidentally elected.
accidentally elected to four different positions on one vote each. How did that happen?
Mm.
Somebody decided to be a smart aleck and write me in, and nobody else got voted for. So,
Oh, dear. Now, we recently had New South Wales state elections here a couple of weeks back. And for, well, the first time that I can think of in memory, the Labor Party now holds. So, normally, what would happen in Australia is if you have, so we've got a very similar two party preferred system as to America. We have the Liberal National Coalition, which is kind of our equivalent of the Republicans. And then we have our Labor Party, which is kind of, they're a bit more left leaning than the Democrats, but they're both fairly centre at the moment. But Labor's certainly the better of the two when it comes to progressive politics. Normally, what would happen if one is in power federally, if there's a state election, it'll generally go the other way as a protest vote against the incumbent federal party. At the moment, we've got the Labor Party in power at the federal level and in every state bar Tasmania, which we generally disavow Tasmania anyway. So yeah, it's been a big statement against conservative politics in Australia, and it's been good to watch.
well, we're going to get really interesting next year. It's
I
going to
think
get
so.
really interesting.
Oh yeah.
Plus, we have an eclipse in April, so
Ah,
which will
very
be like
nice.
which it's going to be totality like 40 minutes from my house. I'm just going to drive over and be in the middle of it.
Yeah,
Uh,
nice.
um,
That's what I said.
Vlad had a question and he's deleted it. I can't read it now.
Hey, Jihan, I'm serious. There is quite the delay to the live chat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know how to fix
Vlad.
that.
No, Vlad did put something in, but it was deleted. So, you're more than welcome to join us, Vlad.
Anybody wants to
Um,
join us? The link is pinned to the top of the chat. Come on down.
yeah.
We are willing to talk about anything, not just politics. Just happen to be in politics right now.
Hey,
Hi,
Gian.
Jihan. At the same
so
time.
so I
Mm-hmm.
actually I
Hey,
screenshot
Jihan.
I screenshot the announcement of our Nazi running for sheriff. I will post it at the Discord.
Oh yeah, I'd like to see that.
It
Oh, God.
even says he's known for being a Nazi.
What's
Yeah,
his
they
policy? What's his policy platform?
I
Oh,
have
What's he
no
going to
Jesus.
idea.
do? What's he going to do for the local community?
Oh, my.
I have no idea. I
well,
mean, I should actually take the opportunity and go interview him for our channel. What do you think, guys?
Oh, my.
Absolutely, absolutely.
oh, you should wait. We should have a stream and invite him on.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness, we
my.
should. Yes, we hear you're running for sheriff. We'd like to know where you stand on a few issues.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
He's got like
I.
11 kids too.
Yeah,
Oh, my. Seriously.
yes. I mean, if
That's
you
like a
watch
football team.
if you watch the Vice TV special, you see about seven of them or eight of them.
So if anybody wants to join us, um, just I pinned the link. Just click
Oh,
on that and you can join.
YouTube band
YouTube
speed
band
on.
speed.
Uh,
Hmm.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
Give
I think
us a
he's
topic.
suggesting that. I think he's suggesting that if we platform a Nazi,
Oh,
that we get
Oh,
banned.
oh, yeah,
Which
but wait,
yeah.
wait.
which wouldn't it work the other way? Like, I mean,
But what if we're just doing an interview? just trying to see where he
Exactly.
stands on some policy issues.
Mhm. I mean, if Marjorie Taylor
What?
Greene can get like national coverage on 60 Minutes, then surely we can bring a local Nazi in.
Right, right. And we could always like bring on one of his opponents and interview them also. That would make
Have a
it.
debate.
Ooh, we could have a debate maybe. That'd be nice. Oh, we lost Sparrow.
Hmm.
Oh, she's back. One moment.
Sorry about that. I was trying to get to the YouTube live chat and it kicked me out.
Ah, welcome aboard, Jihan.
Hello,
How are you this
can you
evening?
hear me?
Yes, hear you
Hi.
just fine.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. I was doing some administrative stuff. So, yeah, I was thinking back, a few hours ago, we talked a bit about why the Allies won World War II, and I was thinking it would be fun to talk about it during the stream.
About why the Allies won World War II?
Yeah, because you were saying it was thanks to American national pride that the Allies won, and yeah, I was thinking that it was a bit of a lacking analysis personally.
Well, if you go to evenarchive.org and you look up promotional World War II videos, you'll find hundreds of them trying to convince Americans to buy war bonds and war stamps and cut back on their sugar and meat intake and recycle metals and like 90% of America did that willingly, almost gratefully to help the country win the war. Uh, I mean, when all the men were sent off to the to the war, the women stepped up, went right into the factories, picked up where the men left off. There was so much what it was we got attacked. Up until that point, America wasn't like that. We really could have taken, World War II, take it or leave it. We'll sell arms to whoever, our allies. And then as soon as we got attacked, everything changed in America. Everything. It seemed like 95% of the country went instantly patriotic. We had stars. We had famous movie stars working at a cafe for returning soldiers and sailors from the war. They could get served dinner by like Marilyn Monroe and Frank Sinatra and stuff. It was amazing. America went so patriotic in World War II. It was on the verge of like you said, fanatical nationalism.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
it didn't.
the thing is that I understand that American people really invested themselves into the war effort, and they did a lot of they did a lot themselves and a lot of sacrifices, and they were very dedicated. But my issue here is that by saying that the Allies won thanks to American national pride, first, it implies that there is something special about American national pride when during the conflict, patriotism and nationalism was something every state in the conflict was feeding. You know, like you look in the Axis, it was a full-on extreme nationalism. In the UK, like it was so nationalistic that people still remember it today. Like even in France, like we joke about France losing extremely fast, but it was also very patriotic at the beginning. So yeah, people didn't want to die in another war, but that
Well,
wasn't specific to France. But
I think I think
patriotism was still a big factor there. So my issue here is that I don't think there is anything exceptional about American national pride that would have given the US the advantage. What I think had more of an impact is the industry, the strategy, and the resources that the countries had at their disposal. You know.
Well, you have to consider the percentage of nationalism or national pride at the time. Like I said, I mean, you think 90% of Germany supported the Nazis, or even 80%?
Yeah, yeah, I think so.
I don't
At
think
a
so.
at a at a
I
time
mean,
at a time, I'd say yeah, but only because of, and this isn't some sort of apologetic for Germany, but the restrictions that were put on Germany post World War I allowed for the rise of the Nazi Party in the sense that, I mean, the Treaty of Versailles was designed to, not just to prevent Germany from rising to become an imperial power again. It was designed to crush them and punish them, and right, and I mean rightly so in a number of ways when it comes to the First World War. But they did have popular support at a time, and look, I think that Jihan's right that the resources and I guess the the ability to project force across the world, which is something that America's always been able to do, was probably part of it. But yeah, the bombing of Pearl Harbor was certainly a turning point in pointing U.S. nationalism. I think that sense of nationalism was always there in America. It just needed to be pointed in that direction. But the more you read about World War II and the end of World War II, you'll see that from every perspective, the Russians will say that it was Russia. A lot of people in Europe will say that it's the fact that Hitler stretched himself too thin on two fronts, and the weather will say that it was winter that that ended the Second World War. So
well,
I think
I
that
mean,
there's a lot of
it wasn't just Europe that was at war at that time. I mean, there was the South Pacific, and just before
absolutely.
that, Northern Africa. So it was all over the place. Yeah. But, okay,
Yeah,
just okay, compare American patriots and citizens back then, 1944, to how they are now. I mean, half this country thinks that we're doing the right thing, going in the right direction, just doing it too slow. And the other half thinks this country is completely off the rails, that they're doing everything wrong. We can't agree on anything anymore. That was probably the last time that many Americans agreed on anything.
That's very true.
well, yeah, and I think though, like before Pearl Harbor, America wasn't in the war because Americans were divided about the war. Like a lot of Americans didn't want a second World War One again. But once they got attacked, then it was all about defense against a common enemy. And I think it would be the same today. Like, for example, if you look, I don't think there would have been the same support for uh, the Iraq War or the Afghanistan War if there hadn't been a 9/11, for example. You know, it's the perception that when you're attacked, you attack back your enemy, and that is something that creates a big consensus. So at the
You're
time, that
abso-
consensus
you're you're
was created.
you're absolutely right though.
But
When we attack someone else, the country is very divided on that. But when somebody attacks us, that's a whole different story.
yeah, but what I meant was that it's not something that was special at the time. You know, it would happen again the same way today, I think, or nearly the same way. Yeah. Like even the Q, there would be a lot of QAnon Republicans even that would be fine with fighting Russia if Russia bombed, I don't know, like U.S. troops or started bombing American territory. It's
Oh yeah, if they started dropping bombs,
yeah,
well, you got to figure that most of the population in the United States is starting to age. The boomers, the Gen Xers, all of us are getting older. We all remember the Cold War and that the Russians are the bad guys. Always have been, always will be, according to the Cold War, our generation. So yeah, if they were to attack, like if they were to bomb Alaska or something, yeah, America'd be up in arms. I don't know if it'd be like the same kind of um, reaction we got with Pearl Harbor, but it would be a big one.
Do you think that would extend to if Russia attacked a NATO country?
No,
It wouldn't.
unfortunately, no.
Yeah,
America'd be
and
more divided on that.
that's where I think America would get themselves into a pretty tricky situation because I haven't read the NATO treaty from cover to cover, but from my understanding, you're kind of obliged to assist when a NATO. I'm not sure if you have many outs in that sort of situation.
Yeah, the NATO treaty pretty much boils down to you attack one of us, you attack us all. It's pretty
Absolutely.
much what it boils down to.
Mm. Which
So
is why
yeah,
it's
but
in which Finland's addition into NATO, I found quite interesting. Finland's been quite of a been a because there's talk that Sweden will likely follow because before the Ukraine war, they would know Ukraine will never be a member, Ukraine will never join, and then Russia slowly started to grab land there, and now Finland's suddenly been allowed to join with I believe Turkey's approval. And when you look at Finland, Finland's like their nationalist party. Um, is their second largest party. Like there's um, a lot of nationalist support, and some are saying that the only reason that they wanted to join NATO is, and the only thing they've got against Russia is because Russia isn't Finland. Like it's not concern at what Russia are doing. It's more nationalistic pride in keeping Russia out of Finland, which I thought really interesting. And there wasn't a lot of news on them joining. And they do actually share. It's not much of a border, but they do actually share a border with Russia.
right. Yeah,
yeah.
the
From
more.
what
Go ahead, Gian. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, from what I've heard, the right wing won the elections, no, in Finland, and one of the party in their coalition of in the right wing coalition, I think,
Mhm.
is pretty much like a far right or even a Nazi party without the anti-Semitism. It's like
Yeah.
they're pretty far gone, yeah. But at the same time, they are only 5 million. It's a small country close to a military superpower, so it's
Mm,
understandable that they're not feeling very safe.
I can imagine.
It seems like Russia gets more and more nervous the more NATO countries are getting right on its doorstep.
So this is not the same topic, but it's something that is new in the news and a lot of people are talking about. The Tennessee House representatives expelling the two Democrats, potentially in retaliation over the gun control protest.
Mhm.
Did, did, did,
Uh,
did you
and
notice
my
which two
question,
out of the three protesters got expelled?
my question was, is
Mm.
it was it racially motivated?
No, not at all.
Look, it's hard to. Yep, and look, I also did notice that there was a bit of a correlation in the two that were expelled, considering there were three that were protesting. Um, and yeah, I did find that fairly for you to directly say that it was. I don't know the full circumstances of their manner of protesting. Is part of it thinking that only men is it part of um, the legislature thinking that only men could be dangerous in those sorts of protesting situations, right? There could be a lot of different misogyny and racial sort of biases at play, and I'm no doubt that there's some of it. What I found the worst is if you actually listen to them speaking within Parliament, where they're talking about actually expelling them, the condescension that like these two were very articulate and intelligent young men that were speaking, right? And they deserve to be within that legislator. They were voted in there by people, and they seem to be with a lot of the like schools have emptied at the moment. They've taken to the streets. They're chanting, "You ban drag, or you ban books, you ban drag." Kids are still in body bags. This is school age children out there on the streets chanting this, demanding some sort of action on it. And what are they doing? They're kicking out the two. They're expelling two articulate black men out of the council for protesting and saying, because all I've seen, the bill that's currently on the books is their idea of how to stop school shootings. Because remember, there's been another. I looked this morning. There's been another two mass shootings in Tennessee, both in Memphis since that school shooting, and that brings up to eight in total mass shootings since that school shooting. Um, One of them was a targeted attack against a progressive newspaper. Um, what they're proposing is to arm teachers, which is just insane, and I just don't get it.
Well, by their logic, their P Barnes, their logic saying that the only thing that'll stop a bad guy with a gun is a good guy with a gun. Well, then I'm thinking that the only thing that'll stop a drunk driver is, another drunk driver or a better drunk driver. So let's everybody drink and drive and we'll solve that problem.
Yeah.
I don't know
The,
how this works.
the funny thing is, if the bad guy doesn't have a gun, he doesn't need to be stopped by anyone.
I mean,
He's just a he's just a bad guy walking around wishing he could do something, right?
well, I mean, in China, in an enclosed area on a subway, they had a mass stabbing. A guy actually took a knife out and stabbed 17 people. And how many of them actually died? Not a one of them. They all lived. Imagine that.
How do
Yep.
you guys
I
feel
mean,
about the mass shootings lately? And because one recently was a trans person, uh, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but it seems to me like now there's all these excuses to lay this at the feet of trans people, like as if it was already happening a lot, and that that's that it's going to happen again and again and again because of trans issues. Um,
Hmm.
I don't know how you guys feel about that.
I think that's a really, really nuanced topic, and I think there's a lot of sides to it. On one hand, I think I posted up a couple of times when you look at mass shootings worldwide since 2018. There's been over 2,000 worldwide by cis males, and there's been three. That one brings it up to three. So when a mass shooting happens, there's I think 3% of them are committed by women, and then like the percentage that are committed by trans people, it's just it's not even worth mentioning. But of course, it will be jumped on because it because it serves a particular narrative. I think that it's
Yeah.
on the other side because there's been another trans woman's been charged recently who had a manifesto who was planning a similar attack, who did cite the Tennessee shooting, and I think that it's something that America. I think that in America you need to, well, yes, if you want to look at that as a problem and you want to look at, not saying that either of these incidents were to do with mental health, but if you don't want to deal with it directly with guns, you have to look at what you have to look at why people would want to do something like this, right? And you have to face the reality that there's a lot of states in America at the moment that basically want to ban these people,
Hmm.
right? And doing it under the guise of protecting children in full knowledge that this will harm people, right? This will cause demonstrable harm. And I'm by no means saying that these sorts of attacks could happen, because obviously they shouldn't, but you have to consider the pressure that you're putting these communities under at the moment, right? So if someone's already on a line, add that the fact that no one seems to want to do anything about removing guns from society. I think America has something ridiculous like 60% of the privately owned weapons in the world. One of the few statistics that America is still number one in. Um, those combinations of factors. I mean, part of me isn't surprised that these sorts of things happen. It sucks.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I was, at first I was also thinking like that it might be the discrimination that trans people suffer from that might have pushed the Tennessee shooter to. Was it in Tennessee that the trans person shot the school, the Christian school?
Yeah, it was in Nashville.
Ah, thank you. Yeah, I thought that it might have been discrimination, but might have pushed them to shoot that school. But then the fact that the manifesto hasn't been released and the motives for mass shootings can be so diverse that the first shooter might not have acted in relation to them being trans. So for the moment, we don't know why they shot the school.
And I think it's a really
And
good,
then
really
the
good thing
sec
that they haven't released it. I think it's a good thing that they haven't released the
yeah,
manifesto. Sorry, go on.
and the second shooter, like from what I understood, they don't seem to be very alright mentally. So it might more be mental health and maybe their own situation that's an issue, and they might have plans to act because they heard about the Tennessee shooting, but it's not necessarily because of the discrimination about trans people. If it was in to imitate and because of their personal problems. Um, Now the thing is, yeah, like these that shooting and these incidents have been used by the far right. Like we have seen on the Discord before, there was zero mention of the danger trans people posed in relation to shootings, and now it's like, oh, a trans person might shoot your school in your neighborhood soon.
Yeah, at least
It's completely manufactured.
there's one benefit. At least it's united the right wing in America. It would seem to actually admitting that these things happen. So I haven't heard anyone actually say that this was some sort of false flag designed to take guns off people, um, which is, I guess, in some way refreshing. That
Mm.
that they're at least meaning us in reality and understanding that these things do happen, and it's not some sort of sort of Soros funded scam to take their guns away.
I'm just going to interrupt for a second. Gabby's asking, did you all see the students who were protesting on gun violence and the lawmaker? Can't remember what his name is. Asked the kids what type of gun they'd rather be shot with. I think the simple answer to that is no gun. Nobody should be shooting anybody with anything. But do you guys think?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. Was it like an anti-gun representative that asked them that, or was it a pro-gun representative?
I need to look up the article.
Yeah, I've got an article here about it. So yeah, is that Tennessee lawmaker faces backlash after asking students what gun they're comfortable with being shot with. Um, Confronted by students protesting at the Tennessee Capitol following a mass shooting at a school in Nashville, a state lawmaker posed a question that has drawn intense criticism. Students descended on the Capitol. Um, so William Lambeth, who agreed to speak with them, you're not going to like my answer, and look, I'm going to say that straight up. Lambeth said to the students, "It's not about this one gun.
Well,
If there's a firearm out there that you're comfortable being shot with, please show me which one it is. Every
that is
single gun in there,
outrageous.
a crazy person, a deranged person, a convicted felon, every single weapon out there, yeah." He's doing the guns don't kill people, people kill people thing in front of
Mm.
students. In front of students who
Ah,
As
Jesus.
as well as I currently don't own any guns currently, but as a former gun owner and as a black powder owner, I'd say it'd be damn difficult to pull off a mass shooting with black powder weapons.
yeah.
Not
And
impossible,
look,
but damn difficult.
difficult. Look, and I take a completely different perspective, and I'm always fascinated to speak to Americans about this topic. Like for me, I think of it like if I'm going out to do some shopping or run some sort of errand, right? You do your checklist. I go, all right. I'm buying stuff while I'm out there, so I need to take a bag with me. I'll need to exchange money for the goods that I'm buying, so I'll need my wallet. I'd like to lock my door and I'll need to get back in. So I'll take my keys. Never in my life at any point of that checklist have I gone, hey, I should probably take an over engineered tube of metal so that I can fling hot bits of like dense metals at another person walking down the street to defend myself. Like that doesn't even come to, and I don't know whether it's just because, I mean, I would have been 8 years old when the Port Arthur massacre happened here, where 35 people were killed, and we just said, "No, that's it. That this is never happening here again." And we brought in gun restrictions. It's very difficult to own a firearm in Australia now. People can still shoot. People can still hunt. People can still do everything necessary. People can still shoot recreationally. Those that need it for work, for security, still have firearms. It's not like we're not UK where even police walking the beat don't have weapons. But there's a lot of restrictions around it. If you commit certain crimes, you're not allowed to own a weapon, and you have to surrender weapons. If you own weapons, you need to get a license for them. You need to be able to prove that you have somewhere secure in your house that you can lock up the weapon and the ammunition. And you certainly can't carry it around with you. Most people will keep their guns at the range. It's sporting equipment here. It's not a it's not a personal defense weapon.
I
So,
also I, I also grew up
oh,
next
sorry,
door. Real quick, I
just
also grew up
really
next
quick.
door to. Go
Oh,
ahead.
I just wanted to ask. Um, so, is there no open carry laws?
Absolutely not. No.
Okay,
Like
that's what I
that's
thought.
yeah, that's a concept that I just find mind-boggling. Like I don't know how I'd react if I saw someone walking down the street with a with a firearm. Like
Okay. Now I got two things to say. Having owned firearms in my lifetime, I grew up next door to a gunsmith who taught us everything about proper gun safety, gun handling, locking up your guns, keeping them away from kids, things like that. So I always treated them like the dangerous tool that they are. You don't let a toddler get his hands on a circular saw either. It's a bad idea. So I also happen to live in an open carry state, right? But I walk around here, I don't see very many people with guns. It's extremely rare. And I live in one of the most redneck areas in the state. I mean,
yeah,
okay. If there was a Trump rally here, you would see people walking around carrying for some reason.
Hmm.
yeah, because it's part of the uniform, right?
Right.
Yeah,
But
people
other
have
than that,
done that in my town or a town near me. They've, you know, it was, I think it was specifically in response to, it was in response to people getting locked up at the border and kids being ripped away from their parents. And
Hmm.
anyway, there was a protest in a town near me, and then the response was a bunch of people got their guns out and decided to walk around and
Yeah, such a foreign concept. And the sad reality is, since 2020, the the leading killer of children in America are firearms.
Yeah,
It took over car accidents in 2020. I
well,
mean,
yeah.
we lost
It's,
it's
Jihan.
just
I think what Republicans and other people need to understand is we don't want to take your guns away. We're simply asking that new gun reforms and legislations are put in place so guns are not so easy to get hold of. So there's
absolutely.
proper safety measures in place so kids are safe.
mhm.
Absolutely. All right. It was wonderful chatting with you guys. I should probably get started on my day's duties. But it was wonderful
Okay?
chatting with you. Take care.
Yeah,
Well,
and
thank
you.
you for
Take
And
care.
you.
stopping
Thank
in.
you. Thank you for joining
Have a
us,
good one.
Yvonne.
Not a problem. See you
Have a
later.
good
Yeah.
day.
Join anytime.
Yeah.
Bye.
Jihan, you're back.
Now,
Yeah,
that's a
sorry,
bit too.
I opened the wrong app on my phone and it closed the StreamYard.
To
Yes,
That's what
be
my
happened
phone
to
does that.
me.
well, full disclosure. Full disclosure. I have, while not hunting, openly carried a firearm. I was fishing, and it was bear season, and it was just in case.
Yeah, well, if there are bears around, I would be feel safer with a rifle or something too. But in a city, carrying firearms, like even seeing soldiers or policemen with police officers with firearms, it makes me uneasy because it's like I know they're not going to shoot me, but at the same time, they have the ability to kill me in like 3 seconds if they want to.
What I'm
Yeah,
more worried about, what I'm more worried about is, in an open carry state such as mine, where somebody thinks they're being the tough guy walking around sporting their gun, and then one of those bad people that they keep talking about comes up and grabs it away from them.
well, that was
It
the
can happen.
reasoning behind, with Kyle Rittenhouse. It was
Oh
the
yeah.
reasoning of his supporters. It was like, oh yeah, he brought a gun and he got attacked, but what if his attacker took the gun from him and shoot, shot him with it? It was like, yeah, but don't have a gun in the first place and you don't have that issue.
Wasn't the guy already on the ground?
There were three
Yes,
guys
he was.
that he shot. So he shot a guy that was running after him. Then he shot a guy that was going.
Um, well, real quick because I followed that very closely, and in the state that I live in, he would only gotten off on two of those charges. The third one, when the guy was coming at him with a skateboard, where I live, you're required to try to run first because it's not a lethal. They know in where I live that you can't run from bullets. So if somebody's pointing a gun at you or trying to take your gun away from you, you're allowed to shoot them. That's self-defense. But if they're coming at you with a stick or a skateboard or something like that that you could possibly run from, you have to try that option first.
Yeah, I thought one of the guys was hiding, like trying to hide behind a dumpster or something. Or
Well, from what I understand, one guy he said pointed a gun at him and he shot him, and then another guy tried to grab his gun away from him and he shot him, and the third one came at him with a skateboard like he was going to hit him with it, and he shot that guy. And
So
that
what do you guys?
skateboard one would have been the one that he would have probably been charged with something, probably manslaughter.
So do you guys think
Yeah.
he was justified, or do you think he was just
Nope.
being gun
Nope.
crazy,
I think he's a
trigger happy?
murderer. I don't think he had any business being there that night. I think his mother is culpable for taking him there. I think whoever got him the gun and snuck the gun in for him to use is culpable as well.
Oh, that's right.
He
His
had no
mom
business.
took him.
Yeah, he had no business being there. If he hadn't been there, those three people would be alive now.
It's a gun crazy
Yeah,
world.
that's too bad. Well, what do you guys think about like, what if nobody had guns except for military?
Yeah. Why do ordinary people besides
Like,
I don't
like
think
even police, even if it wasn't
Okay, okay,
like,
okay. Well, hold on. Let me. If no one had guns but the military, Ukraine would have been conquered by now.
I mean, what do you think as far as how it would affect, let's just say America, so or UK, just socially,
um
any place.
UK ordinary people in the UK don't carry guns around not since Dunblane. Um
Well, I guarantee you there'd be people barricading themselves in their houses where I live and holding on to every gun and bullet they could until you tried to come and take it from them.
Yeah, I know it wouldn't happen overnight, but if it was just implemented and then, you know,
I still like
slowly
the
people
idea of
give them up.
you just go back to black powder, right? You can still hunt with that. You can still defend yourself with that. You just can't do a mass shooting with black powder. It'd be so difficult.
yeah, I don't think people have got any need for carrying guns around going shopping with them. I think it's ridiculous. It's
How are the
why
how are the gun laws where you live, Jihan?
Dion, hello?
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Yeah, I was curious about how the gun laws are where he lives. But yeah, I don't know. It's just a thought. If police didn't have guns, if citizens didn't have handguns, you know, everywhere, so easily accessible. But I know people will say, well, then, you know, they could just use a knife or something like that. But
well,
um,
like I said, there was a mass stabbing in China on a subway, very enclosed area. These people had nowhere to run. 17 people were stabbed, and not one of them was fatal. Not one of them. They all lived. Not saying that it's good to get
yeah,
stabbed, but just imagine if that guy had had an AK or something.
right.
It would have been insane. He'd have killed everybody.
Or at least if there was less weapons in the public's hands, like AKs and you know the automatic weapons.
I mean, with a good hunting rifle, either bolt action or lever action, you can shoot shots pretty fast if you're good. It's not as fast as the semi-auto, but it still can be pretty fast. That's why, I mean, black powder, you fire it once, you have to reload it.
Yeah,
And if you're carrying black powder revolvers, they're only good for about 25 yards, and you have to change the cylinders out so you get six shots at a time, and you have to change the cylinder. And the distance that they shoot accurately is super short. So, mass shootings would be very difficult with black powder weapons.
Aren't they dangerous for the user though? Because like black powder, you have to store it properly, otherwise it explodes. Whereas cat cartridges, you can like they are already closed, so it's safer. And these weapons are pretty unprecise too, no?
Well, believe it or not, they do make breech loading black powder weapons that have already waxed paper wrapped cartridges.
Ah, yeah, right.
If people do not know how to store their powder safely, they could just have these. But still, you have to fire it once and then reload it. So it's going to be a very slow process. It would take somebody have to be it would still it'd be almost impossible. By the time you fired one and started reloading, everybody be running. That would make it a lot harder. And then you fire a second time, by the third shot, everybody's out of range.
Yeah, and like
So,
in in even in France, like weapon like firearms in general, they are illegal, but still we have a lot of them and a lot of illegal ones because you know with the Yugoslavia civil war, it really sent a lot of firearms everywhere in Europe on the black market. But because they had a lot of weapon caches and things, I think. But we have way fewer mass shootings, and the ones we got, like the terrorist attacks, generally it was because of ISIS specifically, and now really it has calmed down. So yeah,
well, I've
like
also noticed
it was
that a lot more murders and mass shootings take place in heavily populated areas and generally by people that have never been hunting.
yeah, it's harder to do a mass shooting in the countryside too.
Yeah, not as many people out here. You'd have to. I mean, okay, well, if you went to some of these auctions around here, there's thousands of people at them.
But yeah, if we want to limit mass shootings, I don't think you need to absolutely have zero firearms. But like America has several firearms per capita, so it's way too much. So when you have this many guns, uh, it's way more probable that some would be used for mass shootings. Anyway, I
So
think yeah, I should go to sleep. Sorry, because it's getting a bit late for me.
Well, then we need somebody else to join this so we can have something to talk about. You don't want to hear just us
That's
rattling on.
okay.
actually,
Just
Yeah,
in,
Squeaky has something.
Ah,
yeah, just in 22 minutes ago, a Trump-appointed judge just suspended the FDA's 2-decade-old approval of the abortion pill milsaperidone in 1 week. It will not be legally allowed to be distributed. That gives the FDA 7 days to appeal the ruling.
yeah.
well, it'll definitely be
You
appealed.
really see, yeah, you can really see that judges being picked by political administrations. They are pretty political themselves.
Hmm.
Yeah, this is gonna be this will be interesting because this is uh wow, judge trying to legislate from the bench, I think.
Yeah, in
Yeah.
France we got judges that kind of legislate too by interpreting laws, but not to that extent, I don't think. And yeah, but I think the FDA should appeal that because it's going to be a big deal.
Of course it is. Thing is, abortion is an integral part of healthcare, and without it, there are going to be lots of pregnant people that are going to die.
Oh yeah, they'll
Yeah.
be getting black market uh, abortions or back alley abortions.
Yeah,
It'll still happen.
yeah,
It'll just be
because there's
unsafe.
yeah, because there's like some medical conditions a fetus has that makes the fetus not viable, which puts both the fetus and the mother in danger. So sometimes abortion is the only option.
Yeah,
Nobody has an abortion on a whim. It is a decision that they think about carefully.
of course. Yeah, yeah. Nobody. That's what I hate about when some people they they talk about it like people go and it's like a drive-through. You know, it's
Yeah.
like, oh, it's a fun, exciting thing, and we're just excited to go be able to get an abortion. Like, it's not the way it is.
No, it's not. And there has been a rise in the mortality rate um, with women not being able to get the necessary healthcare. Um,
Oh, good night, Jihan.
Good night,
Have
Gian.
a
Thank you
Thank you
good
for
for
day,
joining
coming.
us.
everyone.
Yes, and
Bye.
you.
Good night, Gian.
Bye.
Bye.
Nice talking to you. Are we still talking about the myth, myth, mifepristone or however that's pronounced?
Mifep, I think it's mifepristone.
Yeah, it's the
Mifepristone.
singy bobbin thing. Yes.
Mifepristone. Something, yeah.
Mhm.
I think you got
Yeah,
it.
that thing.
So
Well, that
people are
Trump
not
appointed
excited about.
judge, that Trump appointed judge needs to suspend God or nature or whoever created the human body and anatomy because about 70%, 60 to 70% of fertilized eggs get flushed anyway. They never attach to the uterine wall. Happens all the
I
time.
mean,
Yep.
yeah. Like,
So
I don't think pregnant people should be penalized for having a miscarriage or an abortion. It's completely, sometimes it's not up to them, but it should be up to them. It should be their choice to make
why? Well,
what
why
is
is abortion the only thing that's
fundamentally
not
right for
covered
them.
under HIP? Why is abortion the only thing not covered under HIPAA laws?
It should be. It should be, to
Um,
be honest.
have you guys heard of I don't know what states or state it, it's in, but um, people who've had abortions like in certain facilities were required to have a real funeral and a burial for their aborted fetus.
Oh,
Wow,
Jesus.
that's a bit odd.
That's messed.
I
That's
have
messed
not
up.
Yeah,
heard of that.
Don't they?
yeah,
Don't they
look
think?
into it.
Don't they think that the pregnant person's been through enough trauma without making them go through all that as well?
Yeah, like they're forced to pay and have like have a service of
Oh, that's
some kind.
terrible.
Well,
That's
there was
wrong.
I don't know
there.
if it's still
I
true, and I don't know what state. So
I just read yesterday about a lady in Texas who had her baby has gone undergone extensive testing and has a fatal abnormality, and she cannot get it aborted. It has a fatal abnormality.
Wait, who is this?
There was a lady, I can't remember her name. There's a lady in Texas, and there's a big court thing going on about her because her child, she's carrying a child, and they've done extensive testing on it because they detected an anomaly. So in their extensive testing, they discovered that this child has a fatal abnormality. It cannot survive birth, either cesarean or natural. It cannot survive birth. So she wanted to have it aborted, and they won't let her.
That's terrible. What is she gonna do?
It's disgusting.
They're fighting it out now, I guess.
If she dies because they won't let her have an abortion, they should be charged with murder.
Yeah, yeah.
They are literally sentencing
Or
that
or
woman to death.
minimum negligent manslaughter, minimum, bare minimum, because
Well, this
this they've already her doctors have already said that there is a very good possibility that this child may pass away in utero. So,
so if it
and
does, will they take the fetus out?
I have no idea. This is why I don't understand this case at all.
Absolutely
Okay,
disgusting.
so
Apparently,
this
this
was what
poor
I was
child
talking.
has a very bad birth defect. Very bad one.
Okay. Okay,
And
so this is an article from 2016, but it says state mandated mourning for aborted fetuses. Uh, Indiana, an Indiana law is part of a wave of legislation that requires burial or cremation following abortions. Who's behind it? Hmm. So I don't know what all states, but Indiana. Um, yeah, I'm surprised you guys haven't heard of this.
I had not
So,
heard of that.
so they have to do it in not just cases of abortions, but miscarriages and stillbirths. Um,
Well, that's kind of insane. So what if you're in a car accident and you lose an arm in the car accident? Now do you have to pay to have your arm burned or buried? Just curious. That seems kind of silly.
what does happen with that? Like if they can't reattach a limb, wouldn't it go to? Well, I mean, they have to get rid of it.
Somehow, I don't know what they do with
I guess maybe it would
them.
go to the
They get
hospital's morgue.
cremated. Yeah, the
Maybe
hospital morgue create
Yeah, well, if they get
it
cremates
just
them.
cremated,
goes.
that costs money.
Maybe it's incinerated with a bunch of other things.
Yeah,
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 it's
but
probably incinerated.
yeah. You know, like where hospitals do amputations and stuff. Like if
Hmm.
any, like if people have like lost limbs or whatever, I suppose they would put those lost limbs in with the rest of the amputated limbs, and they would cremate them.
Yeah, that makes sense.
They could toss the fat in from liposuction and get a nice hot fire.
Your audio sounds glitchy. I
I
don't
am
know if it
sorry.
sounds
It,
glitchy to Sweet Pea.
it might have been me, not my mic.
Sweet Pea, did it sound glitchy to you?
A little.
I was just curious if
If
it
it's
was a
bad,
me thing or.
I'd always want you to tell
One second, I need to get the dog to stop being obnoxiously loud.
me. Oh, so what do you want to talk about, Sweet Pea? What's going on?
Um, mm,
Anything happen over there?
pretty.
Happening over there?
Um, they're shutting down the train um surface for a little bit over here. They're redoing the tracks, and we had a letter through the door the other day saying that they'll be performing the work on the tracks through the night, and they do apologise for the noise and disruption it's going to cause.
Well,
They're
it's
like
nice of
going to
them to
be
do the
well,
work at night, though, not during rush hour, right?
yeah, but no, we got to listen to welders all night, so I don't know. I'm not looking forward to it.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Man, they said they won't be able to post a letter through every time that they're planning to do this noisy work, but it's going to take about 3 months to do.
Well, I found out they're going to redo our road for one reason
Yeah.
only. Yeah, because we got a windmill installation that'll be going through here.
Oh, and they won't be able to bring that through with the potholes. They'll have to
Yeah,
fill in the potholes first.
yeah, yeah. They got to fix the road before they can bring the windmill parts through. So yeah, we get a new road out of some windmills. That's nice.
Nice.
But
That's
that's
what I
one good
said.
thing. What they need to do then is continue to maintain the road after they fixed it.
Oh
Well,
goodness.
that'll
Yeah.
never happen.
Yeah. Roads are never, I mean, they just, I don't know, the roads in town are so bad. They will let a pothole get, well, they'll just let an entire street just get coated in potholes and then wait several years and then maybe put like a little patch, you know. But as soon as the weather gets bad and you get snow and then the snow
Snow
plows
plows
go
come.
through, it just tears it all off.
So do you end up every spring with a lot of asphalt in your yard? I do.
Yeah. I mean, it's
They plow.
everywhere.
Yeah, they
The
plow right
snow
off right
plows,
into my yard.
yeah, they tear it all off.
And every time they do, the hole gets bigger.
Hmm.
Hole gets bigger.
Yeah. In fact, I used to not drive home a certain way from work because the potholes were so bad that it was, I'm like, this is causing serious damage um, to my vehicle long term.
Well, nobody else wants to join us. That's too bad. Gonna, gonna have to just watch us talk about whatever, like potholes.
Is any is anybody watching?
Um, it says 8 people,
Well, if
of
anybody's
which I'm
watching and
one.
wants to, yeah, I think we count as three,
Three.
right? Well, if anybody's watching and wants to just chat with us about something,
Anything, anything. Come on in.
yeah, just click on that link and it's pinned in the channel in the live chat.
We're willing to talk about anything right now.
Oh,
Bring it.
Gabby, you are? Well, just click on that link and you can come right in.
Come on in.
Or are you just saying you're here? You don't have to join. It's
Oh,
okay. You don't have to join if you didn't mean that. But
well,
you're welcome
thank
to.
you for staying, Gabby.
Yeah, that's awesome.
If you don't want to come in, throw us up a topic. We'll talk about whatever.
Oh yeah, that's true. We can get topic suggestions.
I even tried to tell my friends that if they wanted to come over and talk about things that they know I would get angry about, that's all they
Hmm.
had to do. Said, come on, you want to see me get angry in a stream? Come over here and make me get angry in a stream. You know you can do
Well, that
it.
neighbor down the road would probably get you angry.
Oh, if I ever have to talk to him, I would be very angry.
I don't even know if we could ever host that. even just interviewing somebody like that, I don't know if we could even do that.
No, no,
Well,
no. It
if if
no.
if,
We
if
we
we just
definitely cannot be. No.
if we just stayed on policy, and you weren't here at the time, and I
Mm.
said, and possibly posted also his opponents, then it wouldn't be. We just, we're not promoting his platform. We're just interviewing. They would never
Yeah,
do a
I
debate on here. That'd be funny
I
though.
wouldn't. I don't think I'd want to give that kind of
I don't want to
give it.
platform any Nazis.
Yeah,
I'm gonna put
that
it
was
that
what I was
simple.
going for.
Yeah, I'm just gonna put it out there. I don't want to platform any Nazis. Sorry, no offense to anyone, but yeah, no, not happening.
Probably not a good idea.
No, definitely
No.
not.
Well, I think we know somebody who lets a Nazi on their channel occasionally.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
we do. Yeah, we do.
but I don't know that they go on the channel specifically to spout that stuff. They just happen to be a Nazi.
Right. Well, see, and that's why I was saying if it was just political and we were asking him policy questions,
Well, that's
right?
right, because he's trying to be the sheriff.
He's running for sheriff, so you could ask him. Somebody, Eldon's joining.
Well, who else is running for sheriff? Is there anybody else? Like, there's got to be other
Yes,
people.
there are. Yes, there are. There's the former warden of the jail is running for sheriff, and it's the lady. She's running for sheriff, and there's one other person who I think he was a cop in Alaska. He was born here, moved to Alaska. He was a cop up there for many years. He moved back here. He's running for sheriff. So I don't know which one of them's going to win.
Well, I can say I hope that your neighbor doesn't.
We will. Well, they left. Maybe their mic wouldn't work.
Oh, I was just about to
No,
welcome them. Oh,
I don't think they unmuted at all.
No. Hey, Odin, come on back in.
Yeah, you're welcome to come back in.
There he is. He's back. Hold on. Let me add you. There you are.
Welcome.
Hello.
Hello, can you guys hear me?
Yes, we
hi,
can.
welcome.
Little staticky, but I can hear you.
Is there anything specific you'd like to talk about?
Doing?
Oh,
I don't think
I think
their
he's having
audio
some
is working.
audio issues. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Hmm. Yeah.
That's too bad. Um, he can now see the private chat. Yeah, we don't. It seems like you're having some audio issues. There are audio settings for the StreamYard at the bottom of your screen. If you click the settings button, there are
Grimly done.
audio settings.
So how, I think I've asked you this before. What is the population of the county that you're in?
About 24,000 people. It's over 16,000 acres too, or 16,000 square miles. I'm sorry, it's huge. We
And
have
this guy,
roughly we have roughly 1.5 people per square mile.
wants to be the sheriff. Um,
Yes.
and has he had any prior experience as a law enforcement
Um,
officer?
I have no idea. I know he has military experience. He is a veteran. He was in the army way back when.
Don't you need to have some kind of law enforcement
Nope.
behind under your belt before you
Sheriff's an
can be a sheriff?
elected position.
Hmm. It seems like you
Anybody
should
can
have
be.
some kind of experience.
One of those races that I won on one boat was not sheriff, but it was constable. Had to turn that one down.
You want to try your audio again? See if it's any better?
Not yet.
Hmm. Okay.
Yep.
Well, I don't know.
So yeah, it will be an interesting primary next month to see what happens.
Yeah, for
I,
sure.
I but you guys know what I do, so I will be right there the
Yep.
whole time. This will be interesting. I really don't know if I want to admit that here right yet, because that would be a little weird. Oh, so Aoden's having some audio problems, obviously. I noticed that P Barnes's camera kept like freezing too, but I think that's just because he's like on the other side of the planet.
Yeah, it was froze most of the time from on my end because his video was
Well,
froze. I could
well,
hear
yours
him
has
just fine
right. His audio was absolutely perfect, and your camera hasn't frozen once. Um, so
for once.
I think not, and I think it was probably just because he was on the other side. He's on the other side of the planet right now. So seriously, we have to schedule something. It's becoming such a big deal where I live now that we're getting the totality of the solar eclipse. You guys have to run a stream that day, and I'll just be on my phone from totality as it goes right over me. And we'll have something about the Earth, the shape of the Earth, something. Because
Um,
please, I want to do that. Because I want Ross to come into our stream and go. I'll be like, Ross, explain that.
okay, so it's
Yeah,
okay. That's right. It's tied to a flat Earth thing.
Okay, can
So,
you guys hear me?
yes, that's much better.
so
Okay,
what
I
day is?
was, yeah, there was
Once,
some technical issues.
what
That's
day is
okay. Because
that going to happen on?
it's on
Let's talk.
April. It's like what is it? It's a year from tomorrow.
Okay.
A year
Well,
from
that's far
tomorrow.
enough in advance.
Yeah, I think we can
We can
probably get
plan that.
something scheduled. It could either be flat Earth or heliocentrism. Because either one, like that eclipse is gonna be tough to answer, especially since we
Yeah.
predicted it so long ahead of time. I knew about this like 3, 4 years ago. So,
Welcome back, Aoden.
yep.
I don't know if
What
I'm
would you
saying
like?
that right.
Hello? Yeah,
Okay,
uh,
what do you want to
down
talk
to
about?
talk about whatever. How you guys doing? I got
Doing well. Well, not
Good.
like,
exactly well. I just found out my entire summer is going to be ruined again. I'm going to be down to one hand all summer long.
oh, that's sad.
I have to get surgery on my left hand.
Yeah, I wish you good luck.
Thank you very much. I hope it goes well myself.
Hmm.
So how are you doing?
So I'm fine. I mean, I can't stay long, but I just came in to support. Well, um, like as I told you guys before, I see like it's live there is not really getting views, and even though on Discord many people vote, but they don't really show up. So I don't get why. I
Yeah,
think
We
no,
don't we
we're
don't
trying to
know
figure that
either.
out too. Hmm.
well I would like I would have someone like some manager on server that goes like PR manager or someone to like go on Discord server or some like partnership or something to um like if you guys are talking about politics or something, then go on some political Discord server on or Reddit or somewhere, you know,
Hmm.
and share stream so people are gonna join and listen like what's the topic and stuff. Yeah, I think that would help.
Yeah,
Hey, that's not a bad idea. We could use a PR manager.
yeah. I'm certainly not
Yeah.
good at it. Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, I can help you guys like about maybe on religion, like if it's gonna be some like related to that topic, maybe we can go on some Discord servers, religious Discord servers, Christians, and get Muslims, Christians, like tell them to this is the stream, that's what we're gonna talk about, and bring them here, so they're gonna have like opposite views, right? So they're gonna tell their sides, and it's gonna be good conversation.
That's not a
Yeah.
bad idea. I
Mostly,
mean,
mostly,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. Go
go
ahead.
on.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say, like, mostly when I see you guys like stream certain topics, like, there's no opposition, like it's only like we basically all agree on some things, like most of the time, right? Like as I seen, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty much after 10 minutes or whatever, it's completely dead. Conversation is
Well,
just dies.
that's why I propose some topics like well, for one thing, if like you put up "Is God evil" as a topic, first off, you're gonna have people going, well, which God? You got to define which God, right? So that
Yeah,
would
yeah,
take up a little time. That would get some people in, I think, something like that. Anything religious would get some people. Flat Earth would get people. We know that. We've seen it from
yeah, yeah,
years of experience. um, oh, what else? Um, anything atheist versus any religion seems to get some people,
Well, it seems like
it,
it seems like there's a lot of servers that don't allow sharing, you know, content sharing or server sharing. Um, that's the one thing that's been a little bit difficult.
right?
hmm.
Yeah, I'm in a couple of servers that won't let you share links like that either.
Like you mean like share your like stream and like advertise?
Yes,
Hmm.
What
Yeah.
um, um like I think you guys have partnerships with other servers, right? Maybe you
yes, we do.
like try to talk with administration.
Yes, we
Yeah.
have some
That's a good
partnerships.
idea.
So yeah,
Yeah, if
everyone that has
there's
everyone that I'm in that has a shill or a self promotion channel, I have posted, the link to this.
hmm,
It's a Friday though. I mean, I know a lot of the people that where I live probably out at the bar right now.
Well, I made a note of that because that's a really good idea to try to work with the partners uh, to
yeah,
see if we can
there's
share the
on Reddit
streams.
yeah, well, there's also Reddit, some Reddit channels. There's like it can be useful to share like schedule and link on their or Discord server. This will like to tell them that this is a debate Discord server, and you can join and have fun or something. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll have to look into that.
I,
Thank
I'm
you.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to take your suggestion of a PR manager, and we're going to have to pick one out because that's
Yeah,
a good
Yeah.
idea.
Yeah. Yeah, like when you have peer manager, like you don't really, it's like more official, like you don't have to go with you by yourself. You are admin and or owner of server, and you don't really have to like make this connection. That's why like people have managers and stuff, right? They take care of that.
yeah, that's a good idea. That would make things a lot easier.
Yeah, well, I'm down to help if I was on a religious like Christian channels on Discord servers, and there like I can maybe talk to them if they want to do partnership or something.
Yeah, that would
Yeah,
be great. Thank you.
no problem. And if anyone watching right now that want to talk about religion and like TS, if any TS want to talk about religion, I'm down to have conversation.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah, you can find Aoden in our Let's Debate Discord server.
Yep.
And we have a religion debate channel. Um, and you're welcome to join and start some conversations.
Yeah. Um. So when uh, I my issue is that okay, recently I was thinking about concept of heaven. Uh, that's like I don't really see anyone make argument about that, but if you really I think I have talked about before, but if you really think about concept of heaven, it's actually hell. Because imagine you are like just think like infinite life, infinite like when you have to live in eternally, not infinitely, eternally. When you have to live eternally, that's still that's gonna be hell for me, you
And
know.
infinitely worshiping something.
Yeah, yeah, that makes no sense too.
Well, Odin, I did Bible study for almost 2 years with a Jehovah's Witness on my porch. The entire time he's trying to convince me that they have the answers, and I'm trying to convince him that they have no answers. But he had the same concept of heaven that but they think that you're going to live here on earth forever. And I'm like, well, that would be hell. And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, okay, let me make it really easy for you. I said, I like to play chess. I really do. I love to play chess, right? And I know that there's a lot of other people that like to play chess. So if you have an eternity, you can learn every possible move in chess, every possible move, and so can the other people. So every game will end in a stalemate. So there's no sense in playing chess anymore. Time to move on. And that will happen with every
Yeah,
single thing you do. Every single thing.
yeah. Eventually, like that repetition gonna turn out like suffer, you know, like you're gonna eternally do certain thing. That's the I heard there's some argument about, oh, you are not gonna feel you are not gonna feel bad, like that feel this depression feeling of depression is not gonna uh follow in heaven or something, like it's completely gonna disappear and you always gonna feel happy. and
Oh,
that
so
Yeah, like
does not make any sense.
I'll be I'll be happy
Where
every
it's
time a game ends in a stalemate. Oh, happy, nice, we did it
yeah.
again.
so it's supposed to be like eternal joy and happiness and no suffering or pain, frustration, anger.
Yeah,
Is that basically it?
yeah, those feelings is gonna completely disappear. That's what they think. But uh, I don't know where it says in Bible or Quran or whenever where it says anything about that. It
Wouldn't
does
that
not.
kind of make you like? Wouldn't that kind of make you just like a mindless drone if you don't have control over your own emotions anymore,
Yeah, it's it's well pretty weird.
or if you're not allowed to be upset?
Gabby said that sounds like a flaw in the system.
What?
Gabby said that sounds like a flaw in the system of the system.
Yeah, that's definitely a flaw. Now, there's many flaws in like I don't think any triome God would create this model that we live in. It just makes zero sense. It just can't. It's impossible. Like there's so many people talk about uh like how well designed everything is and whatever, but if you really think about if you really think about it, it's just there's so many flaws. Like one meteor can literally wipe everything else all out.
Absolutely,
Yeah, that's true.
it's it's happened
Um,
before.
Yeah,
I don't know. I never really got the whole look at the trees argument.
and
So what?
there's so many unnecessary things going about like that argument. Like there's so many unnecessary things that don't. It's completely random and makes zero sense to be there, to be created first place. So if there was creator and created something that like is like has no impact about like his goal, right? The Bible and every Quran and every religion basically says talks about some goal, like end goal for God created us for some reason. But all these things that we see, meteors and all earthquakes and all this stuff, it makes zero sense to be there. It's just unnecessary. That suffer, child suffering and all this.
Yeah.
Well, if we were created by a god or gods, then we were created for a giant game of Risk. We are like a board game for them.
Yeah, that I talked about that and I said it's basically we are basically entertainment for God. I guess God was bored eternally, and he was bored and created us. If that was the case,
Yeah, I guess you can only contemplate your navel for so long.
yeah,
Then you need to build an ant farm.
Um, I get confused a little bit by the folks who say take the Christian Bible literally, like the Old Testament literally. So, the universe was created in a few short days, um, and that Eve was made from a rib from Adam, and it's just you've got this kind of one sect of I guess Christians, and they believe that to be wholly true, and then you have others that it's kind of like obvious. Okay, we know that that's not possible, and then they accept it, and they just you know kind of
Yo-
move
Young
on
Earth
and
create Young Earth creationists are a weird group. They really are.
Well, they operate on different presuppositions, and that's why they hold these beliefs.
or believe in the, the talking snake in the burning bush. Just
Yeah.
there's just a lot of it's like, well, if that stuff was happening then, why doesn't it happen now? If somebody was healing the sick and
Well, it turns
turning,
out though. It turns
They
out that
they think it's. Go ahead, my bad.
okay, sorry. In Oregon is one of the world's largest living organisms. It's a mushroom colony that is exactly it's one mushroom. It's just acres big, and apparently it's older than the whole universe, according to the young Earth creationists, because scientists have figured out that this thing's roughly 8,500 years old.
I'm gonna look into this right now.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's the same mushroom end to end.
And it's supposed to be,
It's one of the world's largest living organisms. It's in Oregon.
Hmm.
They just found
Uh,
another very large mushroom in Australia, I think, if I'm not mistaken. I think it was Australia.
oh, the honey mushroom.
That's it. That's the
It's
one.
bigger than both animals and is considered the largest and oldest organism on Earth.
Yep, right there. Oldest organism on Earth. How old does it say it is? If I remember correctly, it's at least
Um,
6,500 years old, if not older.
it says that it's estimated to be around 8,650 years old.
Yeah, see? Yeah, that's older than the whole universe, according to young Earth creationists. They think it's like 6,000 years old.
Right.
And that the flood of Noah was about 4,500 years ago.
to
Yeah.
So
think
how,
to
so
be.
that mushroom must be God because it existed before the universe. Mushroom God. Worship the mushroom, the honey mushroom.
Well, they one thing is that also that they always talk about probable how improbable is that to generate from singularity, like generate a universe from singularity or evolve from single cell organism. They always talk about that, but they are never asked same question about God. How improbable it is to be one God in whole like whole reality, just be there eternally, and for no reason or whatever reason he has created us and everything for his own entertainment. Like how improbable it is to one being existed eternally. Like what's who created that? How what was his uh like origins and stuff? If for I think
Yeah,
if
who
God
made
has to
God?
exist, well,
We have a
if
Void said in the chat said I think the vast majority of modern day Christians are not creationists. They try to extract morality from I think he meant from the scripture, but he said for the from the but not the actual history. They don't take it as literal history. But there are a few out there, Boyd. There are definitely some young Earth creationists. I know a couple.
I'm not saying his comments. They're not showing up for me.
It
yeah, I can't see either.
I know it's not on my phone, and I have oh wait, wait a minute. Oh, do you have it on all messages? Because I had to put my phone on all messages and it showed up. I have the the whole thing in my little side thing here.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Now I see, I see. Yeah.
So,
Oh,
well, I mean,
there
but
we
yeah,
go.
there are definitely some young Earth creationists out there. Like I said, I know at least one in real life, and one that's borderline young Earth creationist. He's willing to accept that the Earth and the universe might be 12,000 years old.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So
that
I
just
don't know.
doesn't make sense.
It does not make sense. But at least his 12,000 years old covers the 8,500-year-old mushroom, right? So there's not a mushroom. You can come in, Void, if you'd like to. The link's pinned to the top. Click it. Come on in. We're talking about whatever. It doesn't have to even stay on, the holy, um, okay, a honey mushroom.
um, if some being like, if I really have to like, if someone put gun on my head and really make me think about God existence, if that being is exist, there has to be many gods. It just can't be one God, you know. There has, if God exists, there has to have be uh like higher universe or metaverse or something that's like realm or dimension or whatever, and that that metaverse has to create these beings, these gods, you know, with higher power. That's what I
So
that
you're
makes
thinking
more sense than one
there's
being eternal, one
so you
eternal
don't
being.
think there's like a boss god and some middle management gods and then like some foreman gods or something. There's not just one boss god up there.
Well, yeah, I mean, there can be, if they are gods, they are uh, more knowledgeable and more powerful than us. Like some beings like us, some alien type of beings with godlike powers. I don't know.
Oh,
It is 5:03 my time.
80, yep, 8:04 my time.
Uh, to me, just one god, one eternal god makes zero sense.
Yeah, well, okay, yeah, because that God sat around for well, if it's eternal, sat around for an eternity before creating this universe, and then once this universe is gone, we'll have another eternity of sitting around doing nothing, unless like he's a serial universe killer.
Uh,
Your audio's
He,
gotten a little
and
glitchy.
oh,
Let's farm.
sorry, I leaned this Bluetooth doesn't have a great range. I don't know why.
I just want to touch on the topic very quickly. How Republicans are now ditching Bud Light for Core Light instead, but they don't realize that they're both owned by the same sister companies. So I'm finding that totally hilarious at the moment. I don't know about you guys.
It's beer.
Hmm. Exactly. It doesn't matter who's advertising it. It's beer. Drink it.
It's
Be
beer.
happy. Just yeah.
Yeah, I
Y'all got
don't.
we all got that
I
friend that
don't
after
drink.
they get about 6 or 7 beers in them, they just call you up and want to cry on the phone, or they're telling you that you're their best friend. You know, those guys. Yeah, they can drink whatever beer, no matter.
So I
They're
might have
cheap.
just done a little controversial post on Twitter naming all the beers and the companies that own every single beer and asking the Republicans what beer they left drinking.
So yeah, we've been on here about 2 hours. So if
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's time to start wrapping up, guys.
I have seen some people that have 10-hour
Yeah,
marathon streams on here, and I don't know how they do it. I do not know
I
how
don't
they
Oh
know,
do it.
yeah,
but
I think the longest one
yeah.
I watched was an 11 and a half hour one. I watched
Oh
Wow,
it.
Jesus,
I watched the whole thing.
wow.
you trooper!
Well,
Wow.
they are doing it as a job, so it will, 10 hours.
Yeah, there was
It's
different
it,
people. Like every couple hours they would swap out and there'd be other people hosting, but
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Void is joining us.
Hey,
Hello.
Hi, Void.
Hello.
That's a cool.
Hello.
That's a cool looking guy going on in the room there.
yeah,
Very cool.
I missed last few minutes. What were you talking about?
Oh,
Last few
whatever.
minutes.
No, no. You give us a topic. What do you want to talk about?
Uh, I don't know. Off the top of my head, I guess one interesting topic would be: is morality relative? I mean, like, for example, for our culture, it's pretty obvious that human rights are a right thing to have. But if we go deeper, it feels like all the morality is like culturally relative. So, like, should actually such things as human rights be enforced everywhere, or it should be like basically culture based? I don't know.
Well, I fully support at least basic human rights uh,
Eh,
for everyone.
yeah, it kind of easier position to have, but like, wouldn't it be wrong to enforce your culture to some other people who have different culture and do not recognize human rights? I mean, genuinely do not recognize, even through the simple people, as one might say.
Well, laws are same in like in general. Like they in some countries, like in Europe, people take from the like they that worked that like some laws that have worked and they take it and integrate it in their country, so it's pretty similar everywhere now. There's some things that they are different, but about moral, I don't think how it relates to morals. Morals are uh, morals are kind of subjective.
Moral defines what is good and what is bad. And for example, if we see some people who do violate human rights, but they think, like, they say they are happy about that, do we have moral right to invade this country to change their culture or not? Because we say that human rights are absolute and should be enforced everywhere. They are universal. But is they though? So that's basically my question. Are they? Sorry for
Uh,
my English.
they should they invade to change their culture? I mean, they evolve as a culture. Like they don't really make massive changes, but they change over time, like culturally.
I mean, like, you see, let's say, some country, and you see that human rights are severely violated there. Do you have moral right to invade this country to change
Like
what they
like
do?
like what? Like what? Like for example, like what kind of violation?
Oh, I don't know, like, let's say,
let's start small. In human rights, if I remember correctly, everybody have in some form a right for political activity. Let's say there are some uh, country without right for political activity.
For smoking.
No, no, sorry, I haven't meant to say smoke in any sentence here. Um, I was saying that uh, let's say there is a country where people have no right for political activity. Uh, would you say
Oh,
that's a good enough reason to invade their country and change their culture?
well, no, because like that country has their own government, and it's completely up to country to change over time. And for example, if they want to join NATO or something, if they want some gain from NATO, they need to do like to apply some changes to be able to join and get support from NATO. I'm
Let's
not really into politics, but that's all I know about it.
let's say they don't change into human rights direction and all that. Maybe
But
even the
then it's
opposite.
completely up to them. I don't think
Okay, so you
someone should
say
invade.
sorry, continue.
Well, I don't think they should invade because like it's up to country and government and people that live in that country to what changes they want to make. And if they want to uh, uh, get like to, how can I say, if they want like that new things that invented in other countries and tested and it works, then you should apply same things in your own country because it's demonstrably works. Like some things, uh, s like changes in love and like like general human rights, like what have worked in other countries, should you like integrate in your own country or not? Like if it's works in other countries, then you should uh, integrate it in your love or in your country.
Yeah, so basically what you are saying is that if they don't want to implement human rights, they have right to do so. So human rights are not absolute and could be violated if some people wants to, right?
Well, if they don't have rights to change their own rights, then they don't have rights to begin with. you
Sorry,
know,
could you say again?
I said basically if they don't have rights to change their own country's rights, so they don't have rights,
Okay,
global
so
rights, basically.
yeah, but would you consider that good enough reason to invade and give them freedom or whatnot?
Well, if it's not global threat, then sure, I will give them rights to do whatever they want. If it's not threatening like global safety and stuff like that, like if it's really, if they have some really wily, if they violate some global rules or something, like some social rules, uh well, then yeah, I don't see any reason to invade or force them to change.
Yeah, okay. If you won't invade, then we are on the same boat. I also think that human rights is a good thing, but yet are not absolute. It's kind of. I just like to live in a culture where they are enforced, but I
Well, I,
don't.
I, I, I could see a country where like civil rights and human rights were being suppressed or oppressed, where generally they tend to rise up from within, demanding their rights back, and it's been effective. in many cases. So maybe that's a better solution than someone else invading and trying to force their morality on the people of that. If their basic human rights are being violated, then they need to rise up.
Yeah, here I totally agree. So when people do rise up and ask for help, it is fine to help them, like,
Right
but
when they ask for
yet
help.
gentle, do not like very considerative of what you are doing actually. But yeah, I agree.
There was
Yeah,
something we were
I
talking about today that was similar.
Ah, okay.
Uh, Let's
I missed.
Farm knows what I'm talking about. Sweet pea.
yeah
Uh,
I seen like country that in that people that was not agreeing with some rules that government took, and they there was protests and whatnot, so they had to change it. So there is many cases like that, and I think government should listen to these people because they was selected by them. And I don't think any country would make massive changes like some change if it's mm macro changes. That macro changes take a time. It's slow process. It's not gonna be like quick, like change everything and adjust to more civil and like Europe or some like countries like Germany or whatever. I think they have their own laws and rules. Uh, yeah, basically, those changes take time.
I like nonviolent examples too. Like there was one right here in the United States. When uh, American women wanted the right to vote, the suffragette movement was completely nonviolent. They had their own very creative ways. They went on a housewife strike. I'm not cooking for you. I'm not cleaning for you, and you sleep on the couch. So, and they won the right to vote.
yeah, I can see it. I can just picture it back then. All the
Oh
men are
yeah.
like, I don't know how to cook dinner.
How do you light the stove?
Well, I don't know how does that apply or empirically, because empirically there is like most chefs are men. Like men can cook pretty good, and I'm about to cook some food after this stream.
Yeah, but we're
Well,
talking men in the early 1900s.
Well, yeah,
and
I know back then. I don't know history of the
I was kind of
cook
more
itself.
referring to America and the
Yeah,
culture
I
back then.
yeah, I don't know about America.
Like the women had to stay home. They weren't working. They stayed home with the kids. They were just housewives.
Yeah, I heard some things from that.
Aujin, where are you from?
Yeah, well, I don't want to say it.
Ah,
It's
okay, then
irrelevant.
Well,
ignore my question.
unless it's a really tiny country, it'd be hard to find you. I'm
No,
from
it's
Vatican
problem is what
City.
someone find me or dogs me or something. That's not the problem.
That's understandable.
Okay.
I wanna ask Void why you are agnostic. Like, uh, I I personally I think it's very improbable God to exist. Like especially from mainstream religions, Christianity, Muslim, like Muslims and stuff. Not Muslim, but Islam.
I was a strong atheist in my childhood, but it wasn't practical. I realized that the whole that like the most root method I use to organize my knowledge, my experience, my understanding of the nature is practicality, and um, I don't need this assumption of God existence or not existence to organize my knowledge. If I start saying God doesn't exist, I need to own this knowledge, and I have no idea how to own this knowledge but to believe into that. And I don't want
Well,
to have extra beliefs. I want to minimize my beliefs.
well, most atheists don't say that God does not exist. Atheists,
Yeah,
atheism is
they,
basically just don't believe,
they
like
would
without.
usually, I'm sorry, they would usually refer to themselves as an agnostic atheist. So
I'm
their
agnostic.
knowledge,
That
yeah, their
uh,
their 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 knowledge claim is agnostic.
Agnostic,
They don't
yeah,
know, but they aren't convinced that a God exists. So agnostic atheist.
yeah. And
so
agnosticism is knowledge claim, and atheism is basically belief claim. They are two different things,
Right.
but at the same time, it's not mutually exclusive. So
Yeah,
so
some people
I
have different. Sorry, go ahead.
no, no. What I was going to just repeat my thought that if you want to state if God doesn't exist or not, I think this is a belief, and for me it doesn't differ much from other beliefs like religion beliefs or classic Marxism beliefs or any other kinds of beliefs.
well,
I tried.
it's not belief. It's not belief. It's disbelief. There's
No,
difference
believe
between
that God
belief and
doesn't exist.
disbelief. Yeah,
Uh,
but that's disbelief. I have no reasons to believe God's existence.
that would be
It's not like I'm
agnostic.
believing it does not exist. It's like I disbelieve it because I have no
That
reason to believe it to begin with.
that would be agnostic. If you say that you think if you state that God doesn't exist, then you believe that God doesn't exist. But if you say
No,
I have
God.
no reasons to believe in God existence or not existence, then that would be agnostic.
No, as I said, there's difference between belief and disbelief. Belief is something that
I
you
heard you.
like something that you have some evidence, like for example you believe that thing or not, like you have some base, right? But for God, like there is zero base. i mean I mean people say that, oh, we have this testimonial evidence about Jesus, and some Muhammad splitting moon or something, but that I don't believe that. That's a
Well, wait, what?
disbelief.
We
Okay.
okay? You're saying that a disbelief and a belief that is just a belief in a negative kind of thing. Like, okay, there are people out there that literally do not believe that gravity is real. So if you put them and a believer at the top of a building and they both jump, I
Yeah,
think
but
they're both gonna
that's
fall.
that's
No matter what they
well,
believe,
that's belief.
one believes that gravity is real. The other believes that it's not real.
Well, that's a
So that
belief because we you are
well,
going against
but
objective truth. You are
okay,
going against science.
I
Science.
kind of agree. I kind of agree with Void on this. Belief that God is real is a belief. Belief that God is not real is also a belief. It's not a disbelief. It's a belief that He is not real. That it's all
Yeah,
mythology, man-made, made up. An
yeah. Because some
agnostic
I don't
people,
think
has
it's
not.
the same.
An
I don't.
agnostic does not see enough evidence to be convinced.
there's some people that it's less
I
common,
don't
but
think that's
they'll
the same.
they'll
I'm
they'll
sorry.
say that they're a Gnostic atheist, and so they're saying that they know, they're making a claim. They know that God's not real. That's what, so then they have to prove it.
Wow,
Um,
do I wish you guys would have been here when Rebuke and Reprove was in the audience.
Well, if you say God does not exist, yes, I mean, burden is on you to prove that. It's it's not impossible to prove negative, but you have to basically like get rid of all possibilities to do that. So it's very hard. But at the same time, I don't agree with that. The to hold if you hold position that God does not exist, you are not believer or you don't really believe in that, but you disbelieve. Like for I don't think he also I don't agree with that gravity example because I don't think it's same thing because science is tells us all objective truth, right? Or predict some things that we
Oh,
observe and it's a truth. So for example, gravity we know that gravity exists, right? Science has concluded it. And if someone goes against that objective truth, then that person is believing against it. Okay, if there is no evidence or nothing about this God, right, that people made up or whatever, then that's a disbelief. You don't want to believe in something that you have no reason to believe to begin with.
well, science doesn't make absolutes though about anything.
Exactly.
moreover,
Well,
science is
that's
based on
true. I
assumption.
mean, science is that's true. Science is not saying that gravity exists 100%, but we have like we made predictions and we know that if you drop something, it's gonna gravitate towards center, middle, core, to the
the
core.
whole the whole discussion is very epistemologic. So you basically try to explore how knowledge appears in our mind. For example, scientists have scientific method where they say, okay, each new experience we get, we need to integrate into our model of nature in a non-contradictive way. So this is scientific method. For example, Christianic method or whatnot could be like the truth is written in scripture and all my experience which challenges the scripture is a test of my faith or something like that, and you cannot really say which in each case you need to do assumptions that this specific method leads you to a truth. For me
Well,
the choice is
that's
simple. Yeah, sorry.
no, go ahead, my bad.
Yeah, for me the choice is simple because scientific methods just provides me with tools I can exploit to improve my life. That's basically the only reason I go for this method. But some people may decide to go other way, and in scientific method, I try to reduce amount of extra assumptions I do. And again, to say that God doesn't exist, even Christian, which seems quite weird if you interpret it literally. For me, it's an extra assumption I don't need to build a model of the nature. Sorry for the long
Yeah,
speech.
uh, Hitchens razor and Occam's razor, basically. That's what. Yeah, but I agree that we have pre-assumptions, right? Either way, if you wanna, yeah, I mean, science is basically we use logic and whatnot. We use certain tests, some methods to conclude the truth, some object to get to the objective truth, right? But yeah, I mean, science does not claim to have absolute truth, but that's that's truth of reality that we experience. If there was supernatural or some other meta reality that we can't access, then it's just extra assumption. It's don't help anything.
for like scientific method, yes, that's an extra assumption. But if you build your truth based on faith into scripture, then no, it's not an extra assumption. So the opposite, it kind of make you stick to the like your fundament you had before. So this is relative. In my opinion, everything goes into just practicality of beliefs.
For example, supernatural, right? We have no reason to believe supernatural things because there is zero evidence about them, and everything that every every single thing was exposed or debunked eventually, and basically was a tricks that people used, right? And uh if like that's a definite, like by definition of, if some supernatural, my supernatural's definition would be that something goes against laws of physics or something, flying chicken or something.
Uh, First of all, physics is not complete. We still have contradiction in physics. Secondly, if you go to modern day Christianity, and I'm not even saying about liberal Christianity, I'm saying about like Thomas Aquinas, or how to pronounce him. Then, if I remember correctly, he speaks more about like that the whole universe is kind of have the beginning and the end in the God, and like all the like
Like
so
expansion and
basically what would you consider God influence is sorry, what would somebody consider God influence? You would name just luck, because it was predestined to go this way, for example. So there are different models how God.
I won't
Uh-huh.
I won't necessarily name it uh like I will not make any assumptions about that, but if you're gonna assume that it was God who did that, and no and don't assume that it was random thing, then it has no practical application. Like it's like extra, God would be extra assumption.
I agree about practicality. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying that that system of beliefs is better, which brings you more practicality. But if we like put that argument aside, then nothing is left to differentiate. Uh, uh,
Well, I mean, that's forces. People think some forces are God, that like gravity or some things are, they think it's a God that does it, but I
uh,
mean,
no, modern day Christianity thinks that
no, I was
the
talk
universe does, but universe was created by God. It's not like God
I was not talking about
single-handedly doing
Christian.
all that. Sorry, continue.
Yeah, I was not talking about Christianity, but yeah, I mean,
Okay.
yeah, there are some people believe that forces in nature are basically God like pulling like gravity pulling some people or whatever.
Well, I guess some religious people would say that the universe is a part of God. So you can go into like some uh, playing with words and say, yes, it's a God.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, I think that we should probably wrap up.
We have been on here for 2.5 hours.
Oh,
Yeah. There we could have talked about objective morality or something, but if it's
Oh
objective
man.
or subjective, we
Well,
can.
let's see if let's see if we can put that on the poll and get it voted up to the top for the topic next week.
Yeah, we can do
Maybe
that
maybe
next time.
maybe rebuke and reprove will show up, and if we are on religious chat at the very beginning of a stream, and Rebuke and Reprove shows up, he will join our stream, and that will get interesting. I promise.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
well,
Exciting.
I'd like to thank you guys for coming.
Yeah. Thank you guys so much.
No problem.
Thank you for
Thank you
You
so
guys
hosting.
much for joining us.
you guys are welcome anytime to join.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Okay, have a nice weekend. Bye.
You
Alrighty,
too.
guys.
Thank
We'll
you.
talk to you
Hope you have
later.
a nice
Peace.
weekend. Happy Easter.
Yes, you too. Have
Bye,
a great
guys.
weekend.
All right.
Bye.
Good night.
Mm.
Good night,
You too,
Aode.
guys.
If you'd
Bye.
like, if you'd like to sign us out, Sparrow. Thank every.
Oh, yeah. Thank
Mm.
you all for watching and being here with us on this Let's Talk. And please like, subscribe to our Let's Debate channel. And I don't know if we have a link posted um, for the Discord, but
I do
um,
believe the link for the Discord is in the description.
great. Okay, yes, join us on
If,
Discord, like the channel, subscribe, all that good stuff.
share it with your friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Yeah,
All right.
share it with everybody. Have a
Thank
great
you for
night.
joining us.
All
All
right.
right.
Let's talk about the issues. Good
Night,
night,
everyone.
everyone.
Good night.